Module 18. I just want to quickly go over a couple things. If you've had a question due to some changes this year, it might be worth taking a look. So here, one thing that changed is that we've moved to points rather than weighted grades. Okay. So under assignments, you're going to see where categories used to be formative, right, and summative, all right, where they used to be nested. And each of these categories was weighted 50-50. Now, if it still has that percentage there, what you need to do is you need to click on the little shish kebab 3 dots in the top right-hand side, okay? And so we click on that, and you can see assignment group weights, all right? So if this little button was toggled on, right, it would have had the 50-50. You can see it's still there, right? But to undo that, you just need to unclick that because we're not weighing categories anymore. And save, okay? Now, when that happens, then you no longer need to worry so much about having only 2 categories here, because now this can be a way in which you organize your assignments. You can see I've already taken the liberty to plan on organizing my assignments based on units. All right. So as I go through reviewing my assignments this year, I'm going to toggle the assignment from formative or summative, whatever category it used to be in, to unit 1, unit 2, something to keep me organized. You don't have to do that. It can be a giant repository of assignments in a giant group called assignments. But just thinking a little ahead on trying to be organized beyond the modules. Now, one of the things that did change, though, too, is the gradebook. The gradebook looks a lot different. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at the gradebook here. So this is what the gradebook looks like. Okay, there's a couple different things happening here. You'll notice, one, I see an unpublished assignment here, okay? I see a couple of, at least one activity, right, that we're doing this week. But you also see all the categories now, all right? Because remember how it used to be like formative and so you used to look at those 2 groups and you used to see like how they were doing in that category. Now, I mean, maybe this would be useful for you, like, hey, they did this well on unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4 as a total. That's an interesting concept if you want to do that. Right now, though, I don't want that. I need to clean my gradebook up, okay? So, and then the totals over here, once I have a lot of assignments, I hate scrolling all the way down. All right, so it's just a lot of things going on. So I'm going to go through different things in your gradebook to kind of set it up a little bit, okay? So first off, on the top right-hand side, you'll see the little gear button. That's our settings, all right? So we want to click in there and we want to see the settings. All right, so the first thing with the late policy. If you're going to do a late policy, totally cool. It's up to you, right? We've all talked about that. What I had my gradebook set up as from last year is that I am giving an auto 0 and that there's a 5% deduction per day and that it terminates at 50%. Now, I don't know if I'm keeping it that way, but that's what it was set at. So, but whatever you want to do, say you don't want to give late penalties, you do. You don't want to give auto 0s, you do, right? It's up to you, all right? But whatever it is, just hit apply settings when you're done. You can obviously automatically post grades. You could, if you want to explore manually posting grades, you could do that. That's a little more work on your side, but there's some advantages. If you're interested, either take a look, Google it, or just come and talk to me. In terms of view options, this is where I feel like things kind of get interesting. All right. So do I want to see unpublished assignments? No, I do not personally. Okay. So I unclicked that. Okay. Do I want to make, do I want to see a little note box next to the kit? Yes. Do I want to hide assignment groups? Yes. I don't want those unit 1, unit 2, all that. Okay. And then you can change the color coding system. I'm just leaving it default, but you could change what those colors mean to different things. Okay. So I'm going to apply those settings. All right. So you can see my gradebook changed, right? I see notes and I see my first assignment. Okay. Now, a couple different things. I want to First, I like having my total next to the name. You don't have to do it that way. That's what I'm going to do. So I click the little button, and then first thing, sort. I'm going to go move to front. That's what I want. Okay. So boom, I want the total next to their name. All right. So no matter how many assignments I get, the total will be next to their name. That's what I want to do. You don't have to do that. All right. Notes. I like a little note. I can put if the kid has an IEP or whatever it is, right there. Okay. So it's convenient and right there. Okay. The next thing, when I start looking at filters, all right. So when I apply a filter, then couple different things. I want to, you can filter all of your grade book manually by what module or what grading period, what assignment group, student groups, all kinds of stuff. And if you wanted to do that, it would, every single time you go to apply a filter, right? You would have to do it manually. One really cool thing about the new gradebook is that you can create presets. All right. So I'm going to create a preset right now. Okay. So I'm going to create a filter preset. Okay. So you could do whatever you want here. I just have to give it a name. For me right now, I'm going to do missing work. Okay. Or something like that. Okay. Now, of course, if this was like sections, right, you could filter it by sections, right? Student groups, grading periods, stuff like that. Okay. You would be able to create various groups. You could even do, you could combine some interesting things together, like kids who are in this group and are missing work or something like that. But in this case, I'm going to look under submission and I'm going to say has no submissions. All right. So when this is turned, and you can set the date range and stuff, but when I say save filter, all right. So I'm going to do this when like that, I like all caps, save filter. All right. So now I have a preset. Okay. You can see it right here. So when I go apply filters, I can just turn on my preset and it will change my book to only the students that are missing assignments. All right. So now if you have multiple sections, you could say period 1 missing work, right? Or all missing work or whatever. All right. So you can create all kinds of really interesting presets, all right, late work or whatever. All right. You can also search for students. You search for assignments. You can see that. One little thing I do that just works for me too is I like looking at, I like to sort my students by last name, then first name. It's just something I like to do. All right. You don't have to do that, but you would hit the little toggle there, the little shish kebab, and then you would go display last name, first name. All right. That's what I like to do. Okay. So, so that's how you would do that. Okay. Now, one thing too is this is just a normal grade book. There is also a learning mastery grade book. All right. Now this might take a second to load, but what it's going to do is this year, we're going to be aligning all our assignments to various standards. And so what this is going to do is it's going to pull up every single assignment and all the standards, and you can see the student's name and then how they're doing on that specific standard. It's a really cool feature. Now, we'll revisit that when we start talking about objectives and all that. You can also toggle it to individual gradebook, all right, where you're going to look for a specific section, a specific quarter, and then you can start pulling some records of a specific student, right, whatever it is. All right. And then you can see everything for that one student. That might be helpful if you're going into a teacher-parent conference or something like that. For the most part, you're going to end up being in the traditional gradebook. And so I hope that those settings and tweaks are really going to help you get off on the right foot this school year. If you have any questions or concerns, please come and see me or reach out to me in the collab. All right. Take care.